Hey everybody, welcome to the Columbus Wired 2024 Spring Practice Quick Hit Pregame Preview. I, of course, am Andy Evans. And yeah, you probably recognize this guy, right? The man, the myth, the legend, the AV extraordinaire. And what was the other name that we came
Resident Cool Guy.
Look at
That was his name.
Look at the hair. Look at the shades. Look at this, man. The dude is suited up for today's spring game. The Ohio State Buckeyes, of course, right here in the horseshoe, Drew.
Yes.
And you've been down to the practices.
Yeah.
This is, however, going to be your first foray
In the
into the press box.
Oh, yeah.
Are you nervous?
Not at all.
Are you excited?
I'm excited. We got a lot of...
Wait, hold on. Before you really answer that question. Okay, I don't see anything back there. I think we're fine. He is going to be the man this upcoming season. But for today, Drew, like I said, 2024 spring practice. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we got a lot of questions that need to be answered today. Specifically, my biggest concern, per usual, the offensive line. What's going on with the offensive line? We don't know. We got some freshmen that graduated high school early so they can come play today. We got
at wide receiver.
And offensive line. The two twin brothers.
The Armstrong boys, yes, Deontay and Devontae. We probably will see them.
They're 6'6", 230 or 330 pounds.
Yeah, they're like
big boys.
700, almost 700 pounds collectively.
We got McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
You know, as a fellow Scots-Irish person, I figure I can butcher that name.
Yeah, good dude.
And we got Caleb Downs.
Yeah, a lot of guys that came in to the team here in the offseason through the transfer portal. Seth McLaughlin at center, right now battling it out with Carson Hinsman. Should be interesting to see how that kind of plays out, to see what these spring practices have brought us, at least up to this point. Caleb Downs, another Alabama guy, transferred in after 1 year at Alabama as a true freshman, led the team in tackles, was like I know he was first team All-SEC, just a superstar in the making. We'll see what he's going to look like out there on the field. Because let's face it, spring practices, this is the spring game is the culmination of all of these spring practices. Right?
Absolutely.
So, what else?
We got a battle going on at quarterback.
We do.
Who's going to be our quarterback?
Yep.
How good is Will Howard?
Yeah.
I heard the Alabama transfer stealing the show.
True freshman, Julian Sayin. Now here's the deal with the quarterback situation. Me personally, from what I've seen, we've been able to attend a couple of different practices now. Devin Brown, so
stealing
far,
the show.
To me personally, Devin Brown has looked the best. You know, it's kind of a 1A, 1B right now. Will Howard and Devin Brown, they're your 1A, 1B. As far as I'm concerned, Devin Brown's the 1A, Will Howard's the 1B. Then you've got Julian Sayin, the true freshman, who has been impressing people. He's not going to see the field this year. I'm sorry. I mean, unless it is just an absolute dire, bloodbath, a dire situation where he absolutely needs to play because both Brown and Howard are hurt or something like that. Or maybe we see him come in a late game mop-up duty situation. But even then, I kind of feel like Lincoln Keenholz, the second year kid out of South Dakota. I kind of feel like right now Lincoln Keenholz has just a slight step over Julian Sayin, just because he has one more year of experience. He's really got, the 1 more year of college experience says a lot sometimes in some situations, but that is going to be an interesting dynamic. The quarterback situation, of course, we've got the transfer portal coming up here on Tuesday, the 16th. So I know
at running back. We haven't even hit running back.
We haven't even hit running back yet.
Everyone's saying Dallin Hayden's transferring out. We haven't even seen him play. I hope not. I love watching Dallin Hayden.
Well, and here's the interesting thing, Drew. We were there for the interview session last week. Dallin Hayden came out for that interview session.
Yeah.
He was out there. He was fielding questions from the media.
He seemed like he wanted to play to me.
And he seemed the other way to me. He seemed very disinterested. I thought his attitude was very standoffish.
I thought that was just to the media.
And maybe that was just because he's a guy who doesn't like to go in front of the media.
Because,
there are players like that.
There's some great players. Who's that linebacker who led the team in tackle?
Tommy Eichenberg.
Oh, Tommy Eichenberg.
Yeah.
Who was that really good tight end? He just enlisted for the draft.
Cade Stover.
Oh, Cade Stover.
Cade Stover was interesting at times. Sometimes you could tell like he was having fun. Tommy Eichenberg definitely a guy that did not have any fun, and we could even go back to other guys in the past.
We could.
But to me, he seemed disinterested. Maybe it was only because he doesn't like to sit in front of the media and field questions. To be honest with you, that's really. I mean, Dallin Hayden's been out there before, but that he just really seemed disconnected to me. But maybe it was the media aspect. But to your point, he is a guy right now. The rumors are flying hot that he intends to enter the transfer portal come Tuesday. If he plays today, maybe not. Maybe the new running back coach, Carlos Lachlan, who they just introduced to the media this past week, or Ryan Day. Maybe both of them get to Dallin Hayden and say, hey, look, buddy, we understand the room is packed. Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins, T.C. Caffey, third-year walk-on, same class as Dallin Hayden. Ryan Day, we heard him say that he was high on T.C. Caffey. So maybe Dallin Hayden feeling a little bit left out. They're going to say, hey, look, this is a long season, Dallin. We are going to need you at some point. But
I believe somebody from Columbus Wired asked him about how do you see. Oh, that was you.
Oh, was that me?
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at a potential 17 games this year.
Potential 16, 17.
We need a stacked roster. We need depth.
And that's something Ryan Day said too, is we need depth at certain positions.
Speaking of which, wide receiver.
You've got
this guy, J.J. Smith.
Most stacked position.
Everybody's talking about him. He's embarrassing Denzel Ward. Or Denzel Burke.
Yes.
That's what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
Good Denzels that play quarterback at Ohio State.
I think we're going to see, Denzel Ward, he was pretty good too. We're going to see a little bit more out of the defensive backs today. And I heard something interesting from a former Ohio State wide receiver who was being interviewed on local radio station here, local Columbus radio station. Of course, I'm sure you all know what radio station that is. But he said something interesting. I was like, I never really thought of it like that. He said, the defensive backs, they're going to play in spring practices. But there are going to be times where they're going to let the receivers catch the ball because you can't not let these guys get in their practice time too, right? Yeah. If you're constantly just swarming the defensive back, and granted, that's what makes other guys better, right?
Yeah.
Practice time, if you're going hard in practice, then that translates to real time on the field. But he was like, the defensive backs are going to let the receivers at times catch the ball. That's probably not going to be the case today. So we're probably going to see these defensive backs, Denzel Burke, Caleb Downs. We're not going to see Lathan Ransom. Well, we might see Lathan Ransom. I don't know. Ryan Day, last interview session, said they're kind of bringing Lathan along slowly on his own time. But I think we're going to see more out of the defensive backs today. And how good are these receivers truly going to look? Because they have looked unbelievable in these spring practices. And to your point, Mr. True Freshman from Florida, #1 overall recruit in the country, Jeremiah J.J. Smith. Yeah, dude. Real deal. Real deal. Has definitely made Denzel Burke look a little questionable at times. But once again, was Denzel Burke truly getting outplayed? Or was he just kind of taking a little bit of a hands-off approach and kind of letting Smith eat a little bit during practices? We're going to find out today.
Confidence.
Let him gain some confidence. That very well could be the case.
Last two positions, we got linebacker, Sonny Styles. How's he going to adjust? I think he's going to adjust well personally. Defensive line. Do we have an edge? We got new defensive end. We saw
Mitch Melton.
Mitch Melton.
He's a fifth-year guy. He's been unfortunately riddled with injuries throughout his OSU career. Really got healthy last year, but they transitioned him from linebacker to defensive end last season, where he is still at now in spring practices this year. We'll see how Mitch Melton looks, but he's a guy that they're looking to come in and give some solid time to on the defensive line. But otherwise, we know the defensive line is set, right? You got your two. You got Sawyer. You got Canoe, your
Hero
boy,
Canoe.
Hero Canoe. You know he's going to be coming in and getting some time. Look out for Jason Moore, a redshirt freshman. There are definitely some other guys, Caden Curry at defensive end, Kenyatta Jackson, definitely some dudes to look to see how their progress has gone here in spring practices. So far, the defensive line has looked pretty good. They've looked pretty good to me.
I think they're comfortable in the Jim Knowles off or defense now. Jim Knowles offense, the Jim Knowles defense now, and I think they know their roles. They know their roles. They know how to. They know what their responsibilities are in their positions. So looking forward to seeing that.
The one position though that you have bemoaned all last year when we were doing the podcast, all throughout the practices last year after the interview practice sessions we go to.
Hopefully we get some questions answered. We talked about it earlier. We got guys battling out positions at center. We got these big boys graduating high school early to practice. See how it is.
Well, and you know what? Unfortunately, I don't think we're really going to find out a whole lot about the offensive line. They're still playing around with it. It sounds like it's primarily center between Hinsman and McLaughlin and the right side of the line. Right guard and right tackle. Right now,
Josh Fryer going to be the starter.
Right now, it seems like what they've been doing is they have been playing with Fryer and Shabola at guard, while one of the two plays right tackle, or Montgomery plays guard while the other two play tackle. So it's kind of like this. It seems like right now it's between Fryer and Shabola at right tackle. I think Montgomery is right tackle. That should be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yes, sir. All right, guys.